What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Tristo Talks. You already know, you probably don't know, but I used to do this on my channel a long time ago, and I wanted to do another one because I hit 600 subscribers recently. So basically in this video, I filmed a bunch of footage like over the weekend, and I just wasn't really narrating it as much. And so I'm just going to be doing like a video montage. I'm just going to be narrating over the video. I'm not going to necessarily be talking about what you're seeing in the clips, but I'm more so going to be focusing on my reflections so far in my time abroad in Colombia, and also answering like a few Colombia specific questions that I've gotten recently. So yeah. Okay, so first I want to acknowledge the fact that I have not made a video like this in 2 years, and I keep referencing the fact that I haven't done certain things in a long time and all of these things, but that's because I started my YouTube channel 5 years ago, and I'm just now hitting 600 subscribers. And I don't mean to say that in a way to where it's like sounding like I am trying to discredit my accomplishment or anything like that, but the truth is I do feel like if I would have been more consistent and taken YouTube a lot more seriously since the time I began, or even at least like a couple years ago, that I would have been at a very different place now. And that thought is just honestly one that comes up a lot for me, and it can be very discouraging. But I do want to take this time to remember that even though that's not necessarily where I'm at, I can't say, oh, if I would have done this, it would be different. Like I might feel that way, but the reality is I would never know. So the only thing that I can sit in, the only truth that I can like comfort myself with, is that I am exactly where I need to be and when I need to be. So I just wanted to say that. But I don't know, like I've had a lot of experiences over these past few years since I've had my channel. Obviously right now I'm sitting here in Colombia studying abroad, and this is the second time that I've studied abroad. But besides that, there's just been like so many things that I haven't necessarily documented or put out onto my channel. Like I'm very grateful that I'm now sharing my experiences and everything, because I am really loving my time here. But I do wish that, not necessarily wish, but like me as a person, one of my passions is documentary filmmaking and just documentaries in general, or even like docu-series, just everything that is documenting different people's stories, their lives, like the journeys that they have gone on. That is like one of my core passions and things that I really appreciate about media specifically. And so that's the reason that I even have this YouTube channel, and that's the reason why I'm even doing vlogs and do these kind of reflective voiceover videos, is because I feel like there's a lot of power, significance, and importance in us documenting our stories, our journeys, our voices, our thoughts, our beliefs, and just everything, especially as Black people, especially as a woman, and just the list really goes on. But I don't know, I just think that there's something so crucial about having this documentation, not only for the world or, you know, future generations of your families, but also for yourself. Because for me personally, like I do take the time to look back on my other YouTube videos to see like what I was doing at the time, the kinds of experiences I was having, to think back to like, oh, I was working at Starbucks, or oh, I was working at Pete's, the little small grocery store I worked at in Chicago, or like, you know, just I'm able to look back on the experiences that I was having and see kind of how I was dealing with those things, but also how I was thinking about life and how I was reflecting on things or not. And for me, that has been really helpful to see, because I am someone who it's not always very easy for me to see the bright side of things. At some points in my life, more than others, yes, it has been easier, but generally speaking, I do struggle with anxiety, which means I do have a lot of worry about the future, and so that can get in the way of me being able to be present and fully appreciate the present moment of any particular situation. So having that ability to look back on my past and see who I was and see who I have been, in a way, it helps me to, of course, not just like see the things that I was living, but also like have an appreciation for my former self, instead of just having so much doubt about my present self or just discrediting myself in a way. So that's why I wanted to start the video off acknowledging that I haven't filmed something like this in the past couple years, but I don't want to get into that habit, or like I do want to push against that habit of discrediting myself. because I don't know, I think that the way the society is formed, there's always going to be something to make you think you're not doing enough, or to compare yourself to someone else, or to say, I wish I did this, I should have did this, whatever the case may be. And I also fall victim to that pretty often. But I don't know, I think being in Colombia so far, because of so many things, it has like allowed me to have a different perspective. I don't know, I don't want to be redundant or anything like that, but when I was in London, as you know, you might not know if you've never seen any of my videos or you don't know me personally, but when I was in London, I felt very alone, I felt very isolated. And so all these things that I'm speaking on, the doubt, the anxiety, the worry, the discrediting, all of those things were brought up for me very intensely. So I was like at a heightened sense of low vibration in a way. And given how sunny, I was gonna say California, but given how sunny Cali, Colombia is, and even like when it rains, it's just very beautiful here. So to be able to like take a look outside and see all the trees, see all the birds, see the little insects, even though I don't really like those, but seeing like caterpillars, for example, or seeing butterflies, or, you know, just different living creatures, and also seeing like humans interact with one another, seeing people talking with each other or talking on the phone often, even like me having those interactions myself, like anytime I'm in an Uber or on the bus, or even just walking down the street or at a restaurant, whatever the case may be, like I'm engaged in conversations with people. And that's just very different for me personally from what I experienced when I was in London, and also like even what I'm used to experiencing in Chicago or Los Angeles to an extent. It's just a lot more social here. And so that level of engagement and connection, not that level, but these varying levels of engagement and connection, from the lowest level of like insects, then you have cats, dogs, birds, the trees, the sun, the sky, and then all these other people, it helps me to not be so down. Like, I don't know, because we know that humans are social creatures. And so when you're in a situation where you feel very isolated, it's much easier to just go to the darkest depths of yourself. And yes, that's necessary, as I said in another video, but also we thrive from being in community. So I really appreciated that about my time here so far. And I think to answer like something that people ask me often, like the whole question of, is it really dangerous, or what has the community been like here, and what's my local area like? For what I have learned and seen and experienced so far, the internal armed conflict in Colombia, as in like the violence between guerrilla groups and paramilitary groups and even government actors and even gangs in some areas, like those things are still real. They're still happening. They're still affecting a lot of populations within the country. But for me personally, our community that we're staying in is not visibly affected by that. I don't want to say like it's not affected at all, because I don't think that's ever really the case. Like, that's not really possible, especially when you think about how history affects the present moment. And even like, it's not even just history, like it's still ongoing right now. It's just not something that we see in the area that I am staying in. So to that question, like, I have been feeling very safe here. And also, not only do I have like the privileges of coming from an American country and coming here with like the little money or knowledge that I do have, and even like the safety net that I do have like back in America, that's a privilege, of course. But then the other thing is like the neighborhood that we're staying in privileges us as well, because we're pretty much protected from any of those armed conflicts that so many people are still facing today. So it's why my experience doesn't necessarily line up with maybe the perspective or the bias or like expectations that people have of the country. But I think that's the case for anywhere that you go. Like, it's never going to be all bad or all violent in any country. Like, it's always going to be like different pockets that are safer or more unsafe than others. I don't really remember any of the other questions that I was asked, and I think that I'm just kind of rambling at this point. But I just wanted to basically say that I am appreciating my time abroad right now in Colombia because of the ability to interact and connect with people and not be so isolated or not be so just solitary, or I don't know what the word would be, because I can appreciate like my solitude and everything, but you know, I do also appreciate being around people, especially because I'm an only child, so I do feel like I have that dual identity. And even though my channel has kind of changed a lot over the years, the type of content that I've been putting out and everything, I think that at my core, I still am the same. And I think that I need to take more time to make videos like this to reflect on where I have been, where I am currently, and where I'm going. So I'm not going to speak any further in this video, but thank you all for watching. Thank you for watching my other videos. If you haven't, please go check them out. I really would appreciate any comments that people have, any thoughts, question, advice, like whatever the case may be. And yeah, thank you for listening, as always.